any viewers. I apologize for cursing. Um,
3 seconds in, we can't.
yeah, man. Like, I mean, what is there? What is there to say? The team had multiple opportunities to put the game away, and they shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. Coaching didn't help. Player decisions didn't help. Veterans that you count on in key moments didn't help on the road, where you know the opposing team is gonna, they're gonna ride the momentum, multiple threes. Every time you got up 10, you would turn the ball over, and then they would, or you would make a silly play, and they would come down and make 2 threes in a row. Next thing you know, you're only up by 5 or 4. I mean, you can say they miss Brandon. They definitely do. Zion, CJ and Zion throughout the game looked incredibly gassed and tired.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough of a. And I don't understand. And I told Justin this before the show started. My biggest thing from this game, not even from this game, but going forward, is I have no idea what Jonas Valanciunas' future is. Because if you don't play him in to close this game when there's multiple 7-footers on the floor to close, and you are basically punting, rebounding, I don't know if there is a game or a matchup to play him, unless he's starting off really well, which. How fair is that to any player?
When was the last time he started off really well? Seriously, when was the last time he had a dominant
game?
Chicago.
I mean,
Chicago.
So, I just hate
the Spurs game.
San Antonio. Yeah.
I mean, he's just a matchup dependent center, and Jarrett, he hasn't won over this last 2 weeks. He's looked bad. I mean, simple things of not finishing simple layups, fading away, not catching the basketball. I mean, he hasn't been good. There are no more excuses for him.
I mean, I don't. What do you want me to say, Justin? You want me to say he's gonna bounce back? Hey, he might bounce back. But as Chris said, you really don't know what he adds to this team if he can't score. I mean, there were times in the Denver game, right, where he's going against Joker, and he's instantly getting played off the floor. Even as he was scoring, he was still getting played off the floor. So what does that tell you? Going against a player like Joker, okay, yeah, MVP, cool. But now in this game where there's Walker Kessler, he doesn't have an offensive game. He can't go toe-to-toe with you. He's just as slow as you. You just seem to be a little bit more skilled. And he was getting played off the floor.
Did he enter the fourth quarter? Did he start the fourth quarter? And that was
he might have.
I don't remember if he started or answered. It's a daze.
Yeah.
Chaz, go ahead.
All right, so if we talking about JV, I'll withhold my other comments. But with JV, again, JV is kind of like what's that guy, man? The guy who played for the 76ers at that time we had brought over as the center, the one who's supposed to be like
Lil Okafor?
Yeah, he's kind of like that at this point, right? For the guy, like on a random night, he may be able to give you something offensively, but I think it's more upstairs for JV right now. He's really hesitant, really just doing a lot of goofy shit that's kind of, even to be honest, uncharacteristic of him. Overall, this team, they didn't get off the plane to play. So I mean, as soon as they arrived here, but to keep it about Jonas specifically, he's extremely matchup dependent at this point. But I don't see Jonas as a long-term center. I didn't see it last year. My goal is to move Jonas this offseason unless something becomes available and get somebody who fits on this roster.
Jared, what did you think of, we'll go Jared and Chris. What did you think of Willie Green and the staff tonight?
Not great.
Why?
I think
rotation wise.
Let's specifically just talk about the third quarter. The third quarter. Let's just specifically talk about that.
I think I already know exactly what point you're going to go to.
Exactly. If I can just tell you that's my issue is rotations. I mean, you had a 13-point lead at one point. There was there was a call. Just instantly talk about the Herb Jones none. It was a defensive foul called on Herb. That could have been a charge, and I believe that it was a charge, and I think that swung the momentum with that call right there. If you're able to get that call, and I think you do challenge it because that becomes his fifth foul, and you take him off the floor, and he was plus 25 in the game. with 5 fouls. He's plus 25. So if he's able to stay on the court, even if you lose it, you still kind of stop their momentum with the stoppage, and you don't. And they go on a silly run where we're turning the ball over left and right. They had at one point, it was what? They were plus almost 30 on turnovers, like points off turnovers. It was 29 points off turnovers for like 14 turnovers. We were like 17 points off turnovers for 13 or 14 turnovers. Like, that's the game. They scored when we turned the ball. They made us pay when we turned the ball over. We did not. Trey Murphy had a turnover where it was a 5-second call.
Don't forget the 2-on-1. I think we had 2-on-1 fast break with Devontae Graham, and he pulled up and then like hesitated. He pump faked and went into the lane and then like threw it back out and it was a turnover. It was a mess.
That's my issue. I think the only two people that came to play tonight was Najee Marshall and Zion Williamson. Mm-hmm. Those two players are ready to play.
Herb had a good game.
Oh, Herb Jones as well.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, we talked about before getting on here. Dyson Daniels didn't play. He got taken out 2:20 left in the third quarter. Didn't play since then. Jared made some good points about him, but rotational wise, what'd you think? Because you brought up before the show even started, Devontae Graham like banged his knee. He came out. Dyson didn't even come in at that point in the game. And I think they might have gone with like Najee Marshall again.
I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make sometimes is believing that what gets you back into the game sometimes has to be with you, like from a rotation standpoint, has to be what you maintain throughout the game, like or what you close the game with. Like Najee helped you maintain, get in the game, and cause a few different swings. But, and I mean, big Najee Marshall fan here, doesn't mean he had to play 33 minutes. It's that kind of thing. It gets to a point to where, all right, the driving lanes are empty. They have multiple 7-footers on the floor. Sticking Najee in a corner and hoping he knocks down a couple of threes is doing no one it's doing no one a service. So, and ironically, Dyson hit 2 tonight. I'm not saying he should have closed the game, but when Herb goes out and you are in a situation where you are panicking with Mike Conley dribble drives for whatever reason. Okay. With 4 points. You're panicking with Mike Conley dribble drives. And you have nobody that can stand in front of Jordan Clarkson. Not to say that Dyson Daniels is going to be able to stop him. Jordan made Dyson look silly. He would have made anybody look silly tonight with the role he was on. But I feel like with some of the pick and roll switches that you were running in, the lack of rebounding, if you're going to go small, put one of arguably your best rebounding guard on the floor at that point. What else do you have to lose? I didn't like a few different things, about this rotation, tonight, but I don't think that's why they lost the game. I think there were stretches of the game where the players made bad decisions, and veterans had silly turnovers in a road environment, a tough place to play against a team that shoots threes, in which 9 times out of 10 you are going to lose, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean, 18 turnovers tonight. You're not going to win that, Chaz. We can talk about Willie all you want, but moving forward, this team clearly needs Brandon Ingram back. He had a setback again earlier this week. He said he'll be reevaluated in a week. You've been saying we won't see him until January. That timeline seems to be starting to come to fruition. How bad does this team need Brandon Ingram back?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. Brandon Ingram doesn't fix this. I just gotta keep it real. I don't know who we think Brandon Ingram is. Brandon Ingram is a good player. He's real good. Brandon Ingram is not the caliber of player that we talk about Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is not fucking Jason Tatum. He's not that guy. He's not Anthony Davis. He's not that guy. He's a guy who misses a lot of games. That's who he is. And when he does play, it's pretty good. But when Brandon Ingram has played, his team has been shitty. It's been shitty. It wasn't good when he was here. And so, and to be honest, it's been better with him not being here. So the issue, again, I have to disagree with my brother Chris. I blame coaching wholeheartedly for this game. And this is why. The team got off the plane not ready to fucking play. This team is never ready to play lesser competition. I can just repeat everything I said the last recap today. Team is never ready to fucking play. And if we gonna blame Griff for everything that happens in the front office, you have to blame Willie. You got, like, I'll just say this. During that run that UN5 alluded to, 13, like fucking 12-0 run. No fucking timeout. No timeout. When does he call a timeout? When they take the fucking lead. And the whole time while they're on that run, CJ is on the fucking sideline waiting on a dead ball to check into the game. What is the point of this? You call a timeout with like a minute and 26 seconds left to get CJ in the game. There was no point in that, right? You don't challenge 2 bogus Herb calls. You don't challenge them. You never even use your fucking challenge. The challenge is going home and you're putting it in the freezer. It was just terrible coaching from top to bottom. Overtime. We're going to overtime. CJ is the only player on the Pelicans, apparently. You don't put the ball in the best player on the floor, in fucking floor hands. On the last fucking ATO, we kept, dude, there was 3 deflected passes that they kept trying to get to CJ. This is a basketball intelligence issue, and it starts from the top down. All of these fucking intelligent players, they ain't just come here and get dumb. It's starting from the top down. Willie has no idea what's happening the majority of the time. I was saying this last year to now. He's a bad tactical coach. And I'm starting to question some of his motivational skills, which we think is his strong suit. So I tend to think it's strong suit because none of these guys are ready to play. I don't give a fuck who's tired. You got Zion. Like, look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna close with this. Any other coach, right? Any other coach with this amount of talent would be questioned right now, whether Brandon is playing or not. Any other coach with a top offensive center, with Zion Williamson, with CJ McCollum, with Herb Jones, with multiple lottery picks, would be questioned right now. Brother, what are you doing? Do you know what you are doing out there?
Okay, we'll cut you off there. Lito, welcome to the show.
What did I just walk into?
They are 18-10. We were talking about Willie Green rotations and just another lackluster performance in Utah. But I'm glad you're in here because we did talk about Jonas Valanciunas, and there's no way you can defend him anymore. He's been bad.
Don't you tell me what I can't defend. I can find a way to defend some shit.
Hey, listen, like it's just simple things, man. Lito, it's just simple like catching and making bunnies, and he's just not.
Yeah, he just look. I mean, honestly, no, I don't have a defense for his bad play, but I will say that like in the later moments of the game when Walker Kessler is going crazy on the boards, I feel like that might have been the time to put him in. Like Larry was getting killed between 2 bigs, and at some point you gotta adjust to that. I mean, if you're not gonna play, again, I know Jonas is not playing great. I get it, but if you're not gonna play him against a 7'2" guy, I don't know when you play him.
Yeah, what's the point?
There were some moments in the game where Zion was guarded by Walker Kessler. And I think he had 4 fouls, but we were in the bonus, and we just let him slide. Like I think there were moments where Zion could have, put his head down, put his shoulder into Walker Kessler's chest, and force the whistle. I think he did a good job of being vertical, which I think he's really good at. He probably fit really good on a team like the Pelicans, but Zion could have been more aggressive. Like I wouldn't have minded if Zion took every shot in overtime. Like I wouldn't have cared. Like it wouldn't have bothered me any. I think there was.
You guys first shot attempt at 240 in the overtime, Jared.
Am I the only person that saw Zion huffing and puffing?
It doesn't matter, Chris.
It does matter. I watched Zion be tired and throw the ball to Larry Nance in the fourth quarter. Because
he's wide open.
He wasn't wide open. He wasn't wide open.
Don't care. I don't care about him.
Regardless, in overtime, I watched him get the ball, and instead of going up for a layup, I watched him throw a bounce pass to Larry Nance, who had been blocked every time he went up against Walker Kessler. You know what happened the next time he went up against Walker Kessler? It was blocked. It was blocked. He tried. He was not getting the calls that he should have got consistently. Every time he went up, he had to throw up an amazing attempt, and somehow ended up 12 for 24. I'm not saying he should not have had the basketball, but we overdoing this. CJ was having a decent game at one point. Should he have taken every damn shot? No. But to act like Zion didn't have his attempts and he didn't have the ball in his hands at all, no, that's wrong, bro. It's not about attempts. It's not about attempts. The ball, period. The ball.
No. It's not about attempts. It's about when those attempts happen. It's about when. Like, you look at Anthony Davis stats, bro. Like, look at him with the Lakers. He fucking scored 37, but in the fourth quarter and overtime, he had one fucking shot. Like, that's what I mean. It's time.
Then Zion need to say, "Give me the fucking ball."
Cool. Well, then let it be that. All I'm saying is, I would like for Zion. I would like for Zion to, when it's time for him to take over a game, to do that. Like, that's it. That's all. I'm not asking him to do anything that he cannot do. He has the skills.
Hold up, because where I'm frustrated, Chris, is like the first two possessions of overtime where we got to stop a couple times. We drew up two plays for CJ McCollum, which it resulted in two turnovers. I think he got stripped on one, and there was a backcourt violation on the other. And I think they go up 4, and that's the problem I had. Just get the ball on top of the key.
You can ask for more creativity, maybe. But what I'm saying is this: from what they were doing, there are 2 7-footers and a 6'8" man waiting for Zion every single time. As great and fantastic as he is, if he is not getting calls, that is an uphill battle for anybody. A 7'2" man, a 7-foot man, 6'11".
You're saying they were all sitting in the paint, right? So maybe like a 15-foot jump shot would work. Usually that's what.
Was he gonna shoot it?
Shoot it.
I mean, I'm asking, was he gonna shoot it?
Okay, that's what
Why
I'm saying.
wouldn't you shoot the fucking free throws? 80% free throw shooter.
He took a couple jump shots.
He shot a 3.
He shot a 3.
He shot a mid. He should turn around.
Shoot it now.
They were daring him to shoot, but
so which one is it? Which one is it? Should he? I mean,
just put the ball in his hands. That's all I want. Whatever happens after that, I think that's what me and Jared are saying. Just put the ball in his hands and let him decide.
Go ahead, Lito. I'll go after you.
No, I understand both sides. Like, I do want the ball in Zion's hands, and I do understand what Chris is saying. I do. Yo, he was tired because that bounce pass, and I feel y'all, but that bounce pass underneath the rim to Larry Nance, that was a layup any other time. I just felt like he felt like I'm gassed. It's been hold on, Justin. It's been 3 weeks. Oh, I was about to say it's been 3 weeks where he's had this team on his back. I could understand where he's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need this is the real travesty in that, though, is you saying jump shot, Chris is saying take the shot, right? But like, Dyson had made 2 threes and he didn't play anymore, right? There were people I felt like, Najee didn't necessarily have it going offensively. This is not a diss because Najee was being he played a very good game defensively. But like, Dyson had made 2 threes. I just feel like, I mean, I don't know, man.
Chaz, before you go, because I want to address Chris. Chris, I thought you were talking about the pass from Zion to Nance in the corner. I don't know if it was late fourth or early in overtime.
I'm talking
both.
When Larry was in the dunking spot on this.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
That pass in overtime. I mean, there was no reason for him not to go up unless he was gassed. Now, look, bro, he's played 42 minutes.
42 minutes, yeah. Hey, that's
42 minutes. That's the most amount of minutes he's ever played in the game, and he's done it twice in 1 week.
Phoenix, right? Sunday,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it. I need, you know what I need? I need someone else to step up. That's what I need. When you got 2 7-footers down there for a dude that's played 42 minutes that I know is not going to shoot a jump shot and is not getting to the foul line.
That's a very fair statement, Chaz. And then Jared, you can go.
I just feel like in that situation, and we've seen it. I've seen it a few times this season. It's like, bro, you just got to live and die with Zion taking a bunch of shots, bro. Like him, because it's like this. The result, fuck the result, right? He misses them all. Fuck it. You have to prepare him for this is his destiny. Like, his destiny is to be that guy. Like that Lakers game, Tatum, end of the game, Jalen Brown. This is these motherfuckers' destiny. It has to be you, Zion. It just has to be you, bro. It is what it is. I'm more concerned with, CJ had a decent game. He had some big shots, right? But again, CJ is a tricky motherfucker because if you count some of those missed shots as turnovers, he had a terrible game. So it's like, what is with this concerted effort? I honestly, at the end of the game, I would have much rather Najee attacking downhill, getting to the line, and just seeing what the fuck happens. Like, just seeing what happens. Like, JV took about 6-7 shots. Like, you just, like, it's too, things are just too erratic with CJ. It's too erratic. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So no, I want, because y'all mentioned like he had an okay game. If I mentioned he went 11 of 25 and scored 27 points, like would y'all think that's a good game?
I wouldn't think it's a good game, but again, in the context of the game, CJ, it's just, even some of the makes he was making, it's like, yo, bro, that's a terrible shot. You just happened to make that motherfucker, but that was a terrible. You have to make that shot.
He took some good mid-range.
Nice bank shot.
Yeah,
had a big three that rimmed out. And with Dyson, I think Dyson didn't see a lot of minutes. So Clarkson was killing him. Clarkson was like just.
Clarkson did hit a couple tough shots on him. I think he had.
He was abusing Dyson.
He traveled a lot too.
Yeah, Clarkson travels ridiculously. But it's like, bro, at the end of the game, I go back to. I just gotta go back to the coaching staff, bro. It's just like, dog, coach. You understand hierarchy. Like you know how this needs to go. You know what gives you the best. When have you, okay, I want to say this. When has this team won historically with CJ as the primary scorer? I think we won one game in Dallas. That's one time, coach. Put the ball in the best player's hands. He can't finish. All right, well, damn it. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't his night. He know he's going to draw contact. Maybe he gets the whistle. Maybe he doesn't. But you being in overtime, you shouldn't even be here, but you're here. Dude, when can you make corrections? It was 4 quarters of no adjustments, no corrections being made. It's insane. And that's 3 games against the Jazz in a row where this team wasn't ready to play, bro. And that's scary to me because y'all only play superstars. Y'all only get up for superstars.
Jared, when they had Olnick, Kessler, and Lowry in the game, what lineup would you like to see? Because clearly we're getting crushed on the boards. What would you have liked to see the coaching staff adjust to?
I mean, it's not necessarily about the lineup. It's about how we attack them, right? If you we're not a great 3-point shooting team. Like we don't get up enough threes. I think the percentage thing is kind of like a facade. Like we're not really telling the real full truth. We take good shots that are threes, but we don't shoot enough. And their thing was they're gonna force us to shoot, right? So how do you defend it? I think there were times where they were guarding Zion almost like offensive linemen, but the thing was the other guys on the court with him weren't moving, so they didn't force those guys. They just were stationary. They're just blockers right there. Like if they back cut them, force them to move, and you got some kind of motion. That way, Zion will probably create off of that, not seeing 3 7-footers, maybe just seeing 1. And I don't think we were good enough on that end, like offensive, like just being creative. Like, okay, this is how they're going to guard us. Boom, what's the adjustment to that? We made no adjustment to it. Like, all right, Zion, go figure it out. You can't just leave that up to him to go figure out, and play 42 minutes. Like I think you need to help him figure that out. Also, I thought we had more intelligence like on the court with him. Like he can't just be the only one trying to figure that out. Like he can't be the only one making plays for other people. They can't all be on the shoulders. Yeah, I'm saying he should probably just shoot more, but that's just my reasoning behind him, being that guy.
Can I pose a question to the panel? Ahead. I'm sorry, Five. Like during that run, because I think we all could say that's the most blasphemous stretch of the game. During that run, when you relinquished the lead, that was the second time we relinquished that amount of the lead. Why would you not call a timeout after the lead drops to 8-6 and you have CJ on the sideline? You're waiting on the dead ball. You end up using that timeout anyway. Why would you not call a timeout?
I think on the Cavs, we even said maybe at like 5 because the lineup was.
We said the lineup we had in was
Zion were off.
We said before that.
Yeah, like it instantly got bad. It was like, oh, timeout. And he lets him play through it. I get letting people play through it, but you got to know your team at some point. I mean, we're 20-something games and 28 games into the season. Like, you know who some guys are. Like, you got to be able to coach them through certain things. You can't just let them play through it and learn on their own. Like, no.
You let them play through when you have veterans on the floor, right?
Too
Like,
young to be
if like
playing
Zion or CJ was on the floor, all right, let them play through it. But you had like Devontae, like Najee. It was like it
was a very ugly lineup too.
But you know what's crazy though? Even after that, in the fourth quarter, they were up 8 again.
I know.
You know, it's like it just no matter what the hell they did tonight, at some point they were gonna find a way to fuck it up. Even through that, when it looked like the Jazz were gonna completely like storm back and take over the game, it's 91-90. The Pelicans end up scoring, I think, 9 straight, and then it's 99-91, and you right here again with a chance to put the game away, and you know you don't.
Let me can I just I want to add on a Files point. He was talking about offensive intelligence, and this is honestly I'm always caping for JV because you know he's big and I understand how that is, but like there were times tonight where Antonio AD said this on the broadcast where either CJ or Zion are driving and JV was supposed to be the release, meaning if nothing else is going on, he's supposed to be the safety valve. He's supposed to pop out. Or there were times where Zion would be driving, and if JV just turned around, his man was fronting him. He had it over the top, or he could pop out essentially and get a mid-range jumper. I mean, he shoots that well, but it didn't look like he was looking at that. Maybe because he's not gotten those looks in the past. I don't know whatever the case is, but it just felt like there's a disconnect somewhere in the communication offensively tonight. Like Chris said just now, like, you know, Zion can't do everything for everybody. Somebody's got to come along and help him.
Hey, but Lito, who's supposed to tell him that? Who's supposed to tell JB that?
I mean, what Chad's been saying, man, that's on the coach, man. You gotta that's
is that on the head coach or is that on the staff?
It's top down. It's top down. It goes from Willie to the staff has to trickle it down to the players.
I think again, it's like with the front office. Like if you're the face and you're out there, you got to bear the brunt of the criticism because again, like one more play, right? Okay. And my issue is this: when this team wins, because I saw this a lot with during the Monty era, because when you got a lot of talent on your team, sometimes the team winning and you being the coach is a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking because I don't know everything. I'm just saying when you got this much talent on the team, sometimes the team winning is a coincidence if you're the coach, right? When Trey on that last foul, that might have been during regulation. I don't even remember. It might have been overtime. Might have been regulation. No, it was overtime because they missed the free throws. It was about 26 seconds left on the clock. I was screaming, "Yo, you don't need to foul. You don't need to foul." He has to know that, yo, what are you doing? You got 26 seconds left. You don't got to foul him. Why are you even pressing in this situation? You got the time. Just leave it alone. Picks up a foul. Then the bonus, it goes to the line. I don't even remember if they made and missed the free throws. Even at the end of the game, right, when that Larry thing was being reviewed. Now, I wasn't in the huddle. I don't know what was being discussed. I saw Willie with the chalkboard, like he was drawing up. Coach, ain't no time on the clock, coach.
It's actually, cut you off. There's supposed to be 0.8 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, there's supposed to be 0.8 seconds doing that? Okay, so.
Did you have a time?
Yeah, did you even have a time?
Rob Perez tweeted out that Larry Nance had possession of the basketball with 0.8 seconds left. So in essence, you would have taken the timeout, advanced it, and had one more shot.
And probably throw an alley and, get a tip in. Oh, there's probably enough time for catch and shoot. But it's too often during the game where it's just befuddlement. It's just like no one knows, like it's 5 pointers out. There's too many times where we get down to fucking maybe like 7.5. We can't cross the ball across the half court, and you see Jose have to do that little shuffle to get it into the front court. It's like, what are we doing? What are we going over? Like, what are we discussing? Like,
I want to bring up this one play, and I talk about offense.
Yeah, last play. Go ahead, Jared.
CJ McCollum set a screen for Zion on the baseline.
on the
Yes!
corner, on the corner,
Yo!
in the going to the corner.
That's my that's
Yo.
yeah. That's my that's the only thing I want to say.
I
I
had
ain't
that
saying
in my
nothing else.
notes.
Bro,
You
I
talking
don't say
about when
nothing
CJ
Yeah.
set the
Oh my
ankle
God.
screen?
Yeah,
Bro.
no, we done. Close the show.
bro.
Close the show. Shout out to DraftKings. Shout out to Company
King,
Burger.
Topo Chico,
New York Light, Topo Chico,
Company
no,
Burger, 4600
4600
Street.
Fred Street.
I gotta
You
get
know?
the,
Hey,
I gotta
can
get through this read. I gotta get through this read. What,
That was
go
bad.
ahead.
No,
So,
I forgot
man,
about
look,
that. Good catch, 5.
I got on late, and I missed
Oh, yeah,
everything.
go ahead.
I
My
missed
bad.
everything y'all said. No, you good. I was just gonna say, man. What are we? 18 and 10 now.
18 and 10.
18 and 10.
Second,
Pro pills. Pro pills. You good.
Like styles make fights, right? Like they make things interesting. and in this case, I think stylistically, I know it feels like Zion has figured the Jazz out, but like as a like
Collective.
collective,
They figure them out. Yeah.
we ain't really understood like what to do and when to do it with this particular team. And I don't thank God it's the last time we play them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
thank God. This podcast is sponsored by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media, located at 918 Poydras Street. By the Superdome, give them a call at 504-523-5413. If you or someone you know has been involved in an accident, and be sure to mention we sent you. Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media. 18 and 10. Chaz is ready to burn it down. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I forgot to do it in the beginning of the show every time, Jeff. I forget it every single time. Presented by Company Burger, located at 4600 Red Street. We'll see y'all later.
The Emperor has